man. He was in my face.
I'm in your face. It don't matter if you win by an inch or a mile. Winning's winning. I don't have friends. I got family.
Vroom, vroom, and welcome to Fast Friends, presented by the NBA. That's game. We're continuing our off-season podcast series of watching and breaking down every film from the Fast and Furious franchise. And guys, we're getting closer and closer to the end, because today we're tackling the 8th movie from the series, The Fate of the Furious, alternatively known as F8 or Fast and Furious 8. I'm still J.E. Skeets, here with our FF expert, Trey Kirby.
Hey-o!
Hey-yo! And of course, the third man, we got our super producer, JD.
Hello.
There he is, and here we are. If you are a true Fast friend and you're enjoying this very weird series, why not leave us a 5-star rating and review over on Apple Podcasts and or subscribe to No Dunks on YouTube if you haven't done that already. That really helps us out. Keep tweeting in your Fast Friends thoughts to No Dunks Inc. on Twitter. That's at No Dunks Inc. And if you want to send in your questions, email them in nodunks@theathletic.com and just put Fast Friends there in the subject header. Okay, yeah. The Fate of the Furious, F8, came out in April 2017. Budget $250 to $270 million. That's a lot of money to make a movie. Mm-hmm. It's all right. Did okay in the box office. Not as great as the last one, but still $1.2 billion. Worldwide, back-to-back billions for these movies in this franchise. It's unbelievable. The Skinny, when a mysterious woman seduces Dominic Toretto into the world of terrorism and a betrayal of those closest to him, the crew faces trial that will test them like never before. Stars Vin, The Rock, Jason Statham, a regular cast of characters, and a new addition. It is Charlize Theron as the villain in this one, okay? Directed this time by F. Gary Gray. What a name on Gary there. F. Gary Gray. So, we always start Fast Friends by asking our expert what he remembers about the first time he saw the movie, and in this case, The Fate of the Furious. Trey, what do you remember?
Well, it went down in the United States of America in Furious 7. They stayed in the States for Furious 8, and so did I. Saw that one here in Atlanta again at Atlantic Station. Opening weekend, you know this. Did add a new cast member, though, Skeets. The internet's Robbie Calland is who I saw this one with.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a big-time Fast and Furious head. I'm a big Fast head. If I'm recalling correctly, I saw him tweeting something about this during the week it was released. Sent out the fast signal. We hooked up, got some tickets for Atlantic Station. If I'm not mistaken, this was his second time of the weekend seeing Furious 8. You know, see it once, got to go back in.
What? No, you don't?
Yeah, there's so much like lost context if you're just you're just seeing the explosions out there. You really lose the nuances of it, I think, Skeets.
Sure.
Yeah, Robbie saw it twice. I saw it once that opening weekend. But this was actually not the first time I saw this movie, because it was filming in Cleveland during the 2016 finals. We were filming in Cleveland during the 2016 finals. So after seeing a bunch of reports of, the production going on somewhere in the city, I had to go down and take a look. They don't want this being filmed, but there's a massive pileup of New York City cars here at the Fast 8 set. That's right, a massive pileup.
You're real Mo Verde on the scene here.
I have my Mo spies out, my Dom spies out, but being this close to this production, I couldn't, I had to be a Dom Toretto and live outside the law. Had to go up and get close to it. I think what they said is that they used like these pile-up scenes as kind of, like the overhead shots for when everything's falling out of the building, that sort of thing. They were doing like crazy nighttime stunts, I remember at the time too. You'd follow on Twitter, there'd just be like, it's like a Capitol building or something and just gigantic explosions. So a lot was going on in Cleveland, 2016 June. We had the Cavs in the finals. I think the Cleveland Indians were also a pretty solid baseball team at the time. And then we had Fast 8 filming there. So, yeah, once I actually got to see a little production and then see those scenes in the movie, great stuff.
Wow, that's incredible. JD, I'm not going to ask you if you saw this in theaters. I know you didn't, but was this the first time for you watching this one of the series, or were you a Robbie Callan about it? For a second time?
Definitely not a Robbie Callan about it. I don't think I've seen it. It was not familiar to me. So no, but I do remember Trey and his reporting back with the pileups of cars, and I was looking for those cars, and I think I spotted them.
You got them?
I think I spotted them.
Yeah, I think you did too. Okay, well, let's get into the movie then, and we'll figure out whether we like this one. We'll also have our fast part, things we did enjoy, be it scenes, cars, quotes from the movie, the furious part, things that upset us, things we hated, and then we'll rank it, and we'll see where it falls in, especially your guys' leaderboard, comparing it to the other 7 in this series. But we're right into it here. Following the defeat of Deckard Shaw and Mose Jakande, Dom Toretto and Letty, they're on their honeymoon in Havana. We're in Cuba to start this movie when Dom's cousin Fernando, he gets in trouble owing money to a local racer named Raldo. Where's Raldo? He's in Cuba. Sensing Raldo is a loan shark, Dom challenges Raldo, you guessed it, to a race, pitting Fernando's piece of shit car against Raldo's 56 Ford Fairlane Crown Victoria. And then Dom wagers his own 61 Chevy Impala, the fastest car on the island. That made me laugh every time I think Fernando always he's
got the scouting report.
Yeah, he wanted everybody to know that Dom's is the fastest car on the island and that his is the slowest car on the island. I don't know why that made me laugh. So they race, and then after narrowly winning that race, Dom allows Raldo to keep his car, his own car, saying his respect is enough. All right, you keep it. He also, while he's leaving, just gives the keys to his cousin Fernando, his own car, the fastest car on the island, because, I don't know, he's just got a lot of them, I guess, at this point. I mean, they're never short on cars, so, you know, I'm sure insurance is driving them crazy. So here, you take it. I'll get you the title later on. So that's where we open in Cuba. JD, we'll go to you first. What did you think of the start of this movie?
Oh, I loved it. You know, back to basics. We're in the middle of a street race. I mean, I have questions, obviously, but should I even bother asking them? I mean,
oh, come on.
You know,
humor me.
Well, I was confused. I was confused at the change, right? Dom arrives on the scene. The cousin and what's his name, Raldo, where they're arguing. Yes, yep. It's like he's getting ready to tow the car away, which again is a hunk of garbage. Why you want this car, who knows? But anyways, he wants the car. Dom shows up. He's like, what are you doing to my cousin's car? Guy owes me money. We made a deal, right? Dom's backs him up right away. Like, hey, you made a deal. You got to pay. You got to pay the piper. And then Raldo says, oh, you're going to pay. It's like, okay, yeah, he's paying. He's taking his car.
Said that. Yep.
But that was that was enough for Dom to be like, okay, hold on. I'll race you for this car. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't understand other than what you just said, Skeets. I guess he sensed that he was a loan shark and he was gonna milk him for more than just the car, maybe. But maybe I don't know. Again, who cares? We got a great race, and then of course there's this, you know, toe-to-toe standoff, and it's like, hey, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who's driving the car, or it only matters who's driving the car, not what's under the hood. Okay, you drive that car then. He's like, no problem. Immediately put something under the hood, right? Like, it doesn't even, it takes 2 seconds and he's already stripping it down and putting this, what I understand is a dental nos, right? It's laughing gas is what he's putting.
That's what he did? Is that what it was?
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was after a little research. But, you know, okay, so you're being a little disingenuous. It's like, yeah, okay, I'll beat you as long as I soup up this car. So it does matter what's under the hood. It does matter, yes. But, you know, it was a nice twist. And again, how fast can you drive reverse? I mean, who knows?
Oh, God.
Who cares? You know, you're driving a bomb. He's impervious to flames anyways. But I honestly, I thought it was great. It was fun. Great to be in Havana. I assume this is when Obama had lifted the sanctions and opened the doors a little bit.
I think they said this was the first major motion picture filmed in Cuba since the 1950s or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Have either of you guys ever been to Cuba?
I
have.
You have? Yeah. So JD, yeah. You know, the car culture is a real thing there.
100%.
It is pretty wild. And I like how they did sort of like, you know, they weave that into the love affair there with Cuba. I thought that was neat.
Absolutely. Havana is awesome. Parts of it are awesome and parts of it when I was there in the late 90s. So there was definitely a section of town where they wanted the tourists to be, right. And then the rest of it was, you know, had its problem. It's a communist country and isolated from literally the whole rest of the world. Hence the cars that haven't been updated since the 1950s. But, you know, as an outsider, just a stupid tourist walking around, that was definitely part of its charm, is just these old cars and these people just making a go of it. The Cuban people were lovely. It was great to see in a major motion picture and a pretty spectacular action scene, you know? So it was great.
We even, I think one of them, I don't know if it's Dom or, I guess it's Dom, says what he loves about Cuba. It's the culture, people, and beauty, he says.
That's right.
He's right. If you've ever been, check. Yeah. What'd you think of the start of this, TK?
Oh, I love it. Starting with the street race is great. I think they said basically this is a tribute to Brian no longer being in the series. All of his major movies started with a street race. Usually Brian is one of the guys. Yep. So to go into it here, I think was pretty cool. I think it's very funny that Dom's prowess in the quarter mile has followed him around the globe. You know, we're, I don't know, 16 years into the franchise, and everybody's still bringing up the quarter mile. And like, Dom hasn't raced the quarter mile in forever. Like, he went to Tokyo and just wasted the Drift King drifting in American Muscle. And they're like, yeah, but can you do a quarter mile? He's like, yeah, I started with the quarter mile, okay? We also get a little call back to Brian as well. They call him a buster a few times. Glad to see that's still around. JD, like you mentioned, Dom is driving his car on fire for minutes at a time. Like, he just keeps touching the steering wheel. It's so hot. He flings it around backwards. And a hilarious shot of Vin Diesel. I don't know why. They show a couple of shots of him in this movie, like looking backwards, the way you would have to if you were going to be driving backwards. Yeah. And just like the combination of his head and his shoulders and his neck, it's like 18,000 muscles come down from his scalp and his eyes get humongous. I was laughing out loud when he turned to look over the edge of the seat. He wins. The car crashes. He gives Raldo his car back. And Raldo is in tears. This is like, that was the biggest question to me. I'm like, why is this guy in tears here? Like, he's so touched by what Dom Toretto has done, giving Raldo his car back and then giving Fernando, you know, Dom's awesome car, without any indication that Dom is leaving Cuba at any time at this point, right? Like, we're just thinking he's still hanging around, so... I mean, probably he does have a garage. Maybe he's won some of these street races, in which case, why are you throwing down with him, Raldo? But that was killing me. Raldo in tears. That now he has to respect Dom Toretto and still gets to keep his car. I guess it paid out later. You know, pay it forward is what Dom's motto is in this situation, and it works out for him. But I was like, why? Why, Raldo? You should be happy. Like, I mean, maybe these are happy tears, but these seem more like relieved tears to me.
Also, why does Dom respect Raldo? He tried to kill him.
Good point.
He had a guy throw a motorbike in front of him. This is the part I don't get.
Ghost
like,
him.
Just because it was a close race? I mean, he's like, wow, you were damn close to beating me, even though you like basically had to cheat. That's the weird part. It's like, why did he really respect him? I did not really understand. But
I think it was more, he explains it to Cypher later on. He's just, I had the opportunity to destroy him and I didn't. I took the high road and I changed him.
Right. That's true.
So
true.
I guess
Dom has saved him. Again, this continuing theme of Dom is Jesus Christ, basically, throughout this entire franchise. That's a good point. We also, I don't want to gloss over it because we have the little, Letty kicking it with Dom, talking about the cars, falling in love again, I guess. Sure. Letty wearing a lot more makeup than I ever remember her wearing. That was the first thing that I noticed here in this opening scene. And then we soon learned the whole thing about them thinking about having a baby. So they're gonna.
I like those breadcrumbs. Happened to see a dad today, Dom. By the way, you would be a good dad. Just thinking, we did see a dad. It's on my mind.
It's amazing. So I will say the crash part is pretty cool, where he jumps out of the car and has it, because it's on fire, go flying into the water. But the way it just goes like, I don't know, it looks like it goes like 50 feet up in the air, the way it's spinning. Like, well done on the stunt there to get that particular crash. Okay, well, we're still in Cuba here because the next day, I guess, an elusive woman named Cypher. You might remember her from The Matrix. She was one of the twins. Coerces Dom. Cypher does. This is Charlize Theron. Coerces Dom into working for her by showing him something on her phone. So they have their first scene here. She plays
I didn't like your Fitbit. Did you see this?
I hate how Dom is holding the phone in this scene. I don't know. It's like so like, hey, you gotta hold it high in frame here, and it's just like, I don't know. No one's holding the phone like this. But she like tricks him because she pretends the car is broken down, and that's what gets Dom to stop. There's a part like where you quickly learn she's following him, knows everything about him. Was it supposed to be impressive that Cypher called Dom's coffee order black, no sugar? Like, that's the most rare coffee order we've like ever heard of. That would be my first guess.
He was pretty shook.
I know,
she got it.
Damn. I did have to go to a different place today.
It's like, okay, sure. But yeah, we get the introduction of Cypher. I guess I'll ask you right here, JD. What did you think of this new villain? Who's playing her, and how she ropes Dom into her world? What do you think?
Well, it's Charlize Theron. I love her. I thought she was awesome in this. She's by far the best villain we've had so far. So they keep bringing it up and up and up. I don't know who's better. Who's better than Cypher? I mean, in terms of menacing. Listen, we might as well get into this now. Like, I love how cold and analytical and scientific she is compared to Dom's all about family, all about love and respect, and all those amorphous, good feeling, gut feeling type stuff. And she's just the cold-hearted, she has no soul, and she's just totally in it for whatever. Like, and that's all I've said that for all the villains. Like, the scarier they are, the less they care about any of that stuff. Mm-hmm. So she's a great foil for him. And and family has always been a huge weakness for him. I mean, there's no way that it wasn't his child looking at the phone. There was no surprise there. It's like, oh, it's got to be a son or something, like a child of his or a family member, because there is no reason why he would go against his family. It
took family for him to go against his family.
Exactly.
It took real family to go against his fake family. Yeah.
That's right. And she's such a good actor, and they give her such clumsy lines, but she kills it. I mean, I think it's great. Like, I was very, very happy to be in the world where Charlize Theron is the villain. Although I was watching this with Rachel, and it's like, Cypher, God, it's like that's the best they could come up with for a name. And then I was sort of jokingly going, Morpheus was already taken, or Neo already taken, Trinity already taken. Then I realized fucking Cypher is a name from The Matrix. There's Joe Pantaleone's character's name is Cypher. So they're not even original with their hacker names, but it's another Mr. Nobody. It's a placeholder, and you know what? At this point, who cares?
Okay, Trey, what did you think of Charlize here in this movie?
I think she gives a great performance, but I also think the entirety of the performance is her whispering the whole time. She's whispering every single line of this, and I think it comes off nice against Vin Diesel in particular, because he's a bit of a whisperer with his lines as well, so it builds up the sense of this menacing nature between the two of them, and you definitely get the feeling with her explaining how she set up Dom having to go to a different place to get a basic coffee, that she can get to him anywhere she needs to. To me, her character, her code, much like Owen Shaw, we'll see him again in not too long. Her code has to be precision as well, because that's the only thing that can go up against family. You can either be on one side, the emotional side of it, or the analytical side. They give her a bunch of just mumbo-jumbo nonsense to say in this movie. I feel like she whispers it out, so she's doing the best she can with what she's been given. And I do feel like she's very sinister, but the way that they've had to film this, and the only time she's really face-to-face, I feel like, with any of the Fast crew is when she's with Dom, and Dom is working with her at that point. So you lose a little bit of the danger, I think, because she's just, even, we'll get to this later, obviously, but even when they're doing the submarine chase down, she's not even in the submarine.
No.
Right? Like, she's not even there.
Pressing
so
buttons.
that's a little bit of a knock for me, is like, yeah, she is the villain, and she's in control of everything, but it almost doesn't feel like she's in real danger, or that she's causing so much danger to these people. She's trying to set up something dangerous, and we're trying to get there before she does. But, I do like the performance she gives, all things considered.
I like the payoff later, learning that the reason she's, roped Dom in to help her do all this is because he has, twice basically blew up her previous plans, because she was linked to, off the top of my head here, I guess Mose
and Owen.
And Owen,
right.
yeah, right. So in two previous movies, she is actually, we never seen her, but she's behind the scenes helping facilitate all of this, and Dom's, Fast and Furious crew is always screwing it up. So she's thinking, well, if I can just get him, he's always screwing up my plans, I'll just get him to do it. So how am I going to do that? Well, it's got to involve family. And luckily, this guy didn't wrap it up when he was with Elena for a little bit. And he's got himself a child. Okay, so we go from that. He's in. I mean, it didn't take long. He's like, well, I guess I'm in. I think we now go to the soccer scene here in the movie, where The Rock, Hobbs, is the coach of his daughter's soccer team. It's we get some comedy, I guess, in the sense of the agent showing up to try and get him to come back, and there's some Taylor Swift jokes in here. But we get them doing the Maori chant before the game. That was a little out of left field, just to drive home the fact that the Samoan Rock, of course, and just how dedicated he is, and to his daughter's team. I thought it's a strange scene, but it's like, hey, it's The Rock. Let's give him some funny lines here, and this is a funny situation, I guess. I could have done without it, I think, in the end, JD, but maybe you were more of a fan.
Yeah, I know. I'm the same. I think it was played for comedy, and it didn't quite hit the mark. Just like we knew that Dom was looking at a child of his, we knew right from the moment that The Rock opens his mouth, he's not talking to soldiers. He's talking to a kid's sports team, and of course, we know he has a daughter. So yes, it's his daughter's soccer team, and yeah, okay, fine. I'm sure it got a great big pop in the theater. You tell me, Trey, but I was just like, okay, all right, sure, fine. And then just to have this buttoned up sort of all business agent, telling him we gotta go save the world, and The Rock is, hey, cheer for the dragons or whatever their names are. And
dragons.
Okay, sure. I guess. Yeah. Whatever. Again, who cares?
So Trey, was there a big pop for this scene, the comedy?
Of course there's a big pop. A few great lines from Hobbs in here. Like, just imagine looking at the script and seeing that there's a line where Hobbs has to say, Taylor Swift, you gotta be shitting me. Like, that's a real sentence. Obviously, the callback to his daughter coming and saying, Daddy's got to go to work. Yeah, he does. And I think the biggest laugh was when they cut to the crowd and it's all moms watching Hobbs because he's wearing a very tight tank top. He's looking even more jacked. So yeah, definite pops on that. But the way we've been doing this and recording the podcast, it's like when you're watching all of these in quick succession, you're like, oh, you're giving us the Brian scene again, right? Like, and you see it starts with a close shot of The Rock, and that's how you know instantly, well, this is not a real thing. We're going to be getting some jokes out of this. We just saw this at the exact same point in the movie in Fast 7, so I don't know. I guess it paid off getting to see, all the moms crushing on Hobbs. Yeah, that's about it.
I laughed at that part. That part was funny. Like the guy, there's way more moms here than there are actually kids, soccer players or kids. Yeah, which is funny. Also, I do have a question. Taylor Swift is called Tay-Tay? I've never heard that. But not that I really know.
Well, you're a 41-year-old man.
I know,
so
but
there you go.
I've heard of Swifties or stuff like that. I just know. I just never heard her called Tay-Tay, and maybe she is. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it comes up right away when you throw a Tay-Tay in Google. It comes up right away. Why is Taylor Swift called Tay-Tay? Out of the loop on Reddit. Skeets, did you start this thread?
I may have. Okay. Anyway, so he's in. So shortly afterward, we've got Luke Hobbs, The Rock. He's got to recruit Dom and his team, Letty, Roman, Tej, and Ramsey. Yes, confirmed. Ramsey is now part of the crew. She does almost nothing in this movie. To help Hobbs retrieve an EPM device from a military outpost in Berlin. And this is during the getaway when Dom goes rogue, forces Hobbs off the road. Right after Hobbs said, I'll buy you a beer or something. Beer's on me. Didn't say Corona. Maybe that's why he wasn't specific. And that's why Dom got upset. But he drives Hobbs off the road, steals the device for Cypher, who, if it wasn't clear by now, is a cyber terrorist. JD, I guess I'll ask it this way. Having never seen this movie, were you surprised where the story went? Like where Dom, does backstab his, or is forced to turn against his family, or did you have an idea of that going into it?
I honestly had no idea. Yeah. I assumed somebody would flip, just because what else are you going to do? But I was kind of surprised at how almost Manchurian Candidate it was. It was just like Dom all of a sudden is no longer Dom. Like he just becomes this automaton who is just he's just literally turning his back on all the rest of his family, and the reason better be good. Like.
If it ended up being a car he really liked, that would have been rough.
Oh, you found this?
Oh, sweet. A 65 Impala? Oh, my God.
I do feel like Dom could have given a better undercover performance here, man. Like, you're giving it away right away. As soon as he sits in the car, he's, like, not talking to anybody, not looking around. He's driving in the back. Like, come on, Dom. We know you're not going to be taking the back seat on this one. Let's split up. I mean, Letty calls him on it right away.
Away.
What's up with you? You can tell he's distracted. And, I think a hilarious line right at the end of this after Dom has left Hobbs injured in his vehicle. I've seen that look before. Dominic Toretto just went rogue.
I wrote that.
Put it in the
trailer. Yep. Dom drives his car up onto that plane flawlessly. A perfect escape, because those don't usually go that well when cars are going onto planes. But that one they nailed, JD.
Yeah, it was... Did he drive a car on the plane last time in the plane sequence? I can't remember.
He drove a car off the plane. That's for sure. How did it get there in the first place?
Well, he would have had to drive it. I think he's had some experience, I suppose. But yeah, I did think that, like, I don't know why my mind goes places like this, but the plane is like this, Yeah. And he just hits the brakes, lights go off, and he just gets out of the car, and the ramp isn't even up yet, It's like, dude.
He goes flying out.
Can we just wait for it to level off, you know? But the plane stuff I found a little distracting. You mentioned it already, Trey, but they're basically whispering to each other in most of the scenes in the plane. If you've ever been in a plane, which we all have, it's not that quiet. Like, no.
But JD, again, we've been saying this like since the first movie. People have the greatest hearing in this franchise. Everybody can hear every single thing, be it car to car, be it loud planes, be it giant crowds. It doesn't matter. Everybody picks up on everything. It's incredible.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, do we get them talking to each other here then on the plane? Is that correct? Cypher and Dom a little bit?
I believe so, yeah.
Or yeah, I can't remember where it happens with
There's this sort of weird moment where Tormund comes up to him.
Tormund. yes.
Connor Rhodes.
Yes.
He was Tormund in my notes for the first half of this movie before they gave him a name as well.
Right.
But he sort of blocks him from getting to her, and then he says something weird like, "Are you okay with this?" or whatever. Like, I mean, how could you not be okay with it? He just drove his car onto the plane. Like, this is shocking to you? Like what? I didn't understand that little stand-up, but I think it was just to give them, like, you know, friction. You know.
That will pay off later for sure. That's it. Because otherwise, what does this guy have against him? Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Like, he's following your boss's orders.
Right.
Cypher. Like, was there any love, like a little chemistry between Tormund and Charlize at all, or just strictly business?
The only chemistry I saw was way late in the movie, and there was a guy named Matt, who was one of the technicians. He was a larger guy, and she actually touches him. You know, she goes, "All right, Matty, let's go." I was like, ooh.
She's banging Matt.
I think there's something going on with her and Matty.
He's the best hacker, probably.
Probably.
Yeah, I know exactly what scene you're talking about because I wrote that down too. I was like, ooh, a little shoulder rub. Let's get this sub, baby. Okay, so Hobbs gets arrested for this going wrong, right?
Yeah.
In Berlin. That's what. Yeah. Okay.
Which he was warned about. He was warned.
That's true.
The soccer team. The guy's like, "Hey, get to work. And by the way, if you fuck this up, you're getting arrested, and we're not going to help you." That's basically what he said.
So why am I helping you then?
Right.
My man Dave Seton hit me up and he asked me, "Is Magic Spoon worth it?" I said, "Yeah, it's heavy on the protein. I know you like working out." He said, "It's the low carb part that's really intriguing me." I said, "It is perfect for you." He said, "I love cereal as a late night snack." I said, "Are you doing an ad read for me right now? This cereal was made for you." He said, "I'm looking at the website. I thought they had a variety pack bundle. I want cinnamon, but I don't want 4 boxes of it." I said, "Yes, they have a variety pack. You can include just one of cinnamon, along with cocoa, fruity, frosted, peanut butter, blueberry, cookies and cream, or maple waffle. I know cookies and cream and maple waffle were available for a limited time, but they've come back permanently because they were so popular." He said, "You're working hard for this sale." I said, "Always. Just like when we sold shoes together at Sport Check. Getting that 6% commission all day." Check the Magic Spoon stats, Dave Seton. 0 grams of sugar, 13 to 14 grams of protein, only 4 net grams of carbs, and only 140 calories per serving. Keto-friendly, gluten-free, grain-free, soy-free, and low-carb. I worked hard for this sale, but you don't have to work hard for a great tasting cereal. Go to magicspoon.com/nodunks to grab a custom bundle of cereal and try it today. And be sure to use our promo code NODUNKS at checkout to save $5 off your order. And Magic Spoon is so confident in their product, it's backed with a 100% happiness guarantee, so if you don't like it for any reason, they'll refund your money, no questions asked. Remember, get your next delicious bowl of guilt-free cereal at magicspoon.com/nodunks and use the code NODUNKS to save $5. Thank you, Magic Spoon, for sponsoring this episode.
This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp Online Therapy. Check out betterhelp.com/nodunks. Life is pretty stressful right now, more so than it's ever been for a lot of people. Whether that's jobs, relationships, money, anything really. You may be feeling a little bit down and your temper may be a little bit shorter than usual. It's really important that you can unload and get that stress out and talk to somebody who's completely unbiased about anything to do with your life, somebody who's not going to judge you or what you say or even take sides on anything. And sometimes you can't tell anybody, but it's important that you find somebody who you can talk to. BetterHelp is customized online therapy that offers video, phone, and even live chat sessions with your therapist, so you don't have to see anyone on camera if you don't want to. It's much more affordable than in-person therapy, and you can start communicating with your therapist in under 48 hours. Unload the stresses and get some unbiased feedback. You'd be pretty surprised at what you might gain from it. See if it's for you. This podcast is sponsored by BetterHelp, and No Dunks listeners get 10% off their first month at betterhelp.com/nodunks. That's betterhelp.com/nodunks. betterhelp.com/nodunks.
Does this sound familiar? You got one device that lets you catch the game live, another that lets you stream your favorite shows, you're watching sports highlights on your phone, and you got your neighbor's best friend's login for the good stuff. Ugh. Well, I want to tell you about a simple way to get all that entertainment you love without the hassle. And a great way to finally get your TV together. It's called DirecTV Stream, and it brings your live TV and on-demand favorites together like never before, so you can watch your favorite sports, movies, and shows like Survivor all in one place. That means no more juggling remotes and no need to buy another device ever again. And the best part? There's no annual contract. So get rid of the clutter and the confusion and get your TV together with DirecTV Stream. You can learn more at directv.com. That's DIRECTV.com. Compatible device required. Content varies by package. But yeah, Hobbs gets arrested. He is locked up in the same high security prison which holds Deckard Shaw. Now, Hobbs has a scene with Mr. Nobody and his little sidekick, his protege there, Eric, or what do they end up calling him?
Little Nobody,
which is sort of funny. Yeah, I don't think there's much to say about that. You know, we know that he's there. That's the most important part, Mr. Nobody is, because Hobbs goes in, there's Deckard. Man, Jason Statham has more lines in the first scene of this movie than he had in the entire last movie in FF7. I mean, the two of them going back and forth, barking at each other from across the cell block hall. Pretty funny. We get a lot of Hobbs and Shaw here, which makes sense because they're setting up for another movie, which will be the next one we do here in the Fast Friends podcast series, which is Hobbs and Shaw. I enjoyed it. I loved almost everything that involved Shaw, Jason Statham, in this one. And I'm not very high on this movie, I will say, overall, when we get to our ranking. But he is great. And I liked him having more lines, to be honest.
Yeah, I love the interplay between Hobbs and Shaw. And you see this first scene between them when they're really getting to chop it up and, posturing back and forth to each other. What does Hobbs say to Shaw? Get your candy ass back out there and toss some more salads. That's what Hobbs says to Shaw. That's a rock line right there. Yep. Actually getting candy ass into a movie. And then Shaw eventually responds back to Hobbs. It's 38 feet of steel and concrete. Or so I've been told. Thanks for the callback.
Yeah,
but it
good.
Does to me seem that Deckard got an upgrade on his room. Because when they put him away, it was like, you're not looking at anything. There's nobody around you, but now he's got like a window view of the rest of the prison.
Yeah.
Him and Hobbs can like have an interface with each other. The glass isn't soundproof at all. I don't know how that's possible. I've got a window between my kitchen and where I grill, and like I'll be screaming at the top of my lungs at Laura, "Hey, can you have me the burger?"
Trey, everybody has the greatest hearing ever in this movie. It's superhero hearing, yeah.
It's crazy, but I feel like not only did they beef up Jason Statham's role and let him do what he's best at, like him and Hobbs are both awesome at kicking ass and cracking wise, so let them do that together a lot. I think plays really well, but also Jason Statham looks humongous. Like, he was looking svelte in a suit in Fast 7, and now he's like on par with, I don't know if I would say he's on par with The Rock, but he's at like at least Tyrese levels of muscles here. Sure. This man is humongous. Yeah. I guess he's been in jail for a couple of years, probably just lifting the entire time, nothing else to do, but I love these scenes with Shaw and Hobbs for sure.
Yeah. You liked You liked Hobbs the Rock just punching a wall for 5 minutes and then just doing
a bench.
Yeah, little curls with a concrete bench that he just ripped off the wall. JD, what'd you think of this? And then of course they escape here too, the two of them.
Yeah, I mean, I loved the whole prison thing. I loved the escape, and I love the back and forth and there's undeniable chemistry between those two, and it's obvious why they would want to do a movie with them. And the friendlier they get, they're still sparring. As the movie goes, they're still sparring. And again, watching this with Rachel, and she was like getting all whoo every time those two were on screen together, and she was like, I want to see Hobbs and Shaw, the fast and bi-curious. Like, she literally wants to see them have sex, basically. Is what she's saying.
So it sounds like Rachel may have been up in the soccer stands.
Only with Statham there. I think it's the two of them together. I think she's shipping the two of them.
Oh, okay. Well, they do escape. Now, so Mr. Nobody opens Hobbs' jail cell, and then he's like, no,
I'm staying here.
I gotta get some more sets in. But then Shaw takes advantage, of course. Deckard takes advantage and basically strangles the one guard that's nearby him, and then electrocutes, zaps the security system, and then that unlocks everybody, and then we get this crazy, pretty long escaping from jail scene. Mm-hmm. It's shot a little weird. It's you said in one of the movies, JD, and it was probably because they were like car formations. I think, which one was the tunnel one that we were all upset with?
Fast and Furious.
Yeah, the fourth one.
Yeah.
I remember we compared it to Mad Max.
Mm-hmm.
This jail scene felt super Mad Max to me. That I don't even know how you describe it, where it's like, it's sped up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like that weird sped up, and then it's like, of course, like there are slow motion shots and stuff like that. Does that make sense? You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely, yeah. They definitely mess with the frame rates.
Yeah, and, that's what I'm
in a good way, I thought. Like, it's super slick and super choreographed and well done, but also you really get a sense of the chaos of a prison riot, and the superhuman things that they're doing. They literally shoot the Rock. I mean, it's rubber bullets, but still.
Big mistake.
I mean, it's just great to see. It looks like a shotgun, and it's just basically bullets are literally pew, 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 and
through him.
And he just walks, and he gets angrier and angrier every time he gets hit by one. And it's just great. I mean, I had the time of my life watching this whole movie, actually. So I'm high on it. Just FYI.
Okay, good. Well, I laughed when I think it's The Rock does a weird slide under like a railing. You know, part of it's just weird to see The Rock do like parkour type things. It's just
when it's Statham strange. Like going against the fence, you're like,
it's
cool,
believable.
Man. It looks totally believable. But it's just strange to think of The Rock doing anything like using subtlety rather than strength. Because all I was thinking was like the very last scene of this breakout is, I don't know, he just like runs through 5 guys and a door and they go flying. Imagine this guy in the Eliminator on American Gladiators, just blasting through that final one. Nobody would be able to stand up to him. But yeah, the way it's choreographed, I think it's great. And like you're mentioning, there are different like zooms and the angles, and like the directing of it really heightens the tension and the action, which hasn't always been the case in fist fights in this series, but this one is really, really cool.
So they both escape. And you know who's there? Intelligence operative Mr. Nobody. That's Kurt Russell and his protege, Eric Reisner. They recruit them. I mean, they're basically like, that took a little longer than I thought. But they recruit them to help the team find Dom and then try and capture Cypher. So they get these 2 guys. Deckard reveals here that Cypher had hired his brother Owen Shaw to steal the Nightshade device and Mose Jaconde to steal God's Eye, which was Ramsey's software program in these previous movies, which has made Cypher target Dom. And that's why she's actually trying to get Dom there, because he's interfered with her plans before. The team tracks Dom and Cypher to their place. We're at the headquarters here. We can go through this if you guys want. We're at the headquarters, but they sort of figure it out. They, a little workaround. We got Ramsey, we got Tej, we got some smart minds on this. And even Shaw. But moments before they attack the base, sorry, not moments before they attack the base. They're trying to track them down. They figured it out, but boom, it turns out they're there.
Right.
Cypher and Dom, they injure the FF team and they steal God's Eye. I think I have that correct. Sorry for that little mistake there. But there's a lot going on here where we always get a headquarter scene in these movies now. This is Mr. Nobody's place. And we learn that they're all on Interpol's top 10 most wanted list, except for Roman. Somewhat of a funny part. There's a little payoff later, too, with a line in the movie. And we get Tej hitting on Ramsey. Good to know we're keeping that weird plot point going. And like I said, we learned that Dom is officially working with Cypher. They learned that because of all these things that Dom and his team have done in the past to piss off Cypher. And they've corrupted Owen, too. And that's why Shaw is now there. Trey, what'd you make of this crazy scene?
Well, there's a lot of swings in this one, Skeets. You're like, once they get everybody together, I think it's very weird. I mean, there's no way that Fast and Furious really could have seen this coming, but the fact that Kurt Russell is playing a character based in a location called Nowhere, where in the Guardians of the Galaxy, the second one, he's playing a character who's based somewhere called Nowhere. That's just too weird for me to, like, completely ignore. But, I mean, like, that's not their fault, but it's like, wow, this guy really is just living nowhere. And he's playing a similar character, I do feel like, especially in Fast 7, when you're first introduced to him, and you're like, he seems like a good guy, but is he? He seems still to be a good guy. He's basically the plot exposer in this. He's like, here's what's going to be happening for the entire movie anytime he shows up. But you're like, okay, cool. Good idea, Roman. You should use God's Eye. We just learned it has changed the face of manhunts forever.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, it doesn't work. Wait a second. Actually, it does work. We can completely reverse it. Oh, the call is coming from inside the building. They are already there. And then some weird stuff happens. Like, I understand that Dom has been compromised at this point. He is in it with Cypher. They're just destroying everything, trying to get information. And then Cypher kisses Dom?
Yeah.
Like, huh? Like, what? That was so strange to me. And, like, Dom doesn't oppose it, nor does he go for it.
Yeah.
It just, like, happens. You're like, okay. And then Letty just says to him, you're going to turn your back on family just like that? Yeah, I guess so. He just completely exploded the family. It just, I don't know. There was a lot of swings in this scene to me that were like, huh? Okay, yeah, God's Eye, good idea. Wait, no, bad idea. Wait, good idea again. Now we're kissing?
Yeah.
All of this happens basically instantly. And that glosses over the fact that Shaw shows up and they're all like, well, guess we got to work with him now.
Yep.
You know, we were just hunting this guy down. He was trying to kill us. We destroyed his brother, but we're teaming up now because we all don't like the same person on accident. It was strange to me.
I had totally forgotten about the kiss. And the reason is, I don't think they actually ever really kiss. You notice how they shot that one, JD?
Yeah.
It's like Charlize Theron, her back is to the camera, and she like she blocks then
leans
the
around.
Actual lip lock. Yeah, I just don't.
Right.
I have a feeling they didn't really kiss in real life. Or, I mean, they didn't show us at least, but that's what we're led to believe. Of course they're kissing. Weird. Yeah, they blow up the spot with these, what are they, like next generation concussion grenades too.
That's
it's
what
like
she said. Yeah.
Yeah, very specific. Lot happening, like TK said. Anything to add to this scene? I guess.
I mean, it didn't bother me as much as it's bothering Trey. Like, yes, Roman suggests it, and my takeaway was nobody was basically saying, okay, great idea, we'll try it, as if we hadn't tried it before, and they try it, and I'm going to let you see what happens when we try it, and then we see all the hits all over the world.
The false pings?
The false pings, yeah. And when Shaw shows up, there is a little bit of pushback, but it's a fair point. Like, he did kill Han, and all of a sudden they're working together, but they don't like it, Trey. They don't like it.
They don't like it. They definitely don't like it.
As far as the kiss goes, you know, it's a random thing that she does just to stir the pot. That's what I got from it. But yeah, it's weirdly shot. And again, Manchurian Candidate is just, you know, not reacting, just, you know, being a robot basically. And it's and I can understand Letty's frustration. Like, what are you doing, man? Like, this family member or this thing that the reason you're doing this better be good because you just blew us all up. Like we're all, we could have all died just now.
Yeah. So the roles have been reversed between Dom and Letty here, right? Oh, totally. Because it was Letty in her amnesia having her sort of acting out of character, at least to Dom, and now it's Dom, of course, doing this, and Letty's going like, what the hell's going on here? One thing in watching this movie, I was fascinated to see how they would tackle the character of Brian O'Connor. We know he's alive in the Fast and Furious franchise. Paul Walker himself is, of course, dead, and we talked about it in the last movie. And it took about 48 minutes into this movie for Roman to suggest they call Brian. And I was like, okay, they threw it in there. And, he says Brian would know what to do.
He would?
Yeah, right?
Brian would know.
But man, Letty rejects the idea immediately. She shoots it down. No, we promise not to bring him and Mia and of course Jack and their other baby that we don't even know the name of into any more dangerous activity. I don't know. I was just like, I was waiting for it. Actually, I wasn't even waiting for it. I was like, how are they going to do this? Are they even going to mention him? And they did. Yep. And it was just nope.
Calling him.
We can't call him. Even though his best friend, even though his brother-in-law has gone crazy, gone rogue. No, he's busy being a dad. He's still trying to figure out how to open the van door. So just leave him be. But anyway, they did, and I was actually like, okay, fair enough. At least he slipped that in there. All right. So when Dom shows signs of frustration with Cypher because he's getting a little tired of this bullcrap, she takes him to see his ex-lover and DSS agent, Elena Neves, and their son, whose existence Dom was unaware of. I mean, before the start of this movie, at least. Right. Having kidnapped both of them to secure Dom's loyalty and turn on his team. Here is, we've now seen what was on the phone. Right?
Yep.
Well, actually, was the baby on the phone?
Oh, interesting.
Could have Elena been enough to turn Dom? Judy?
No way.
No way?
No way.
Okay.
I don't think so.
So he then immediately, in seeing the phone, knows it's his kid and is like, well, did have sex with her in Brazil there that one time.
Does the math. He's like, that kid looks about
The kid should have been wearing a tiny tank top, by the way. Big miss. Tiny necklace, tiny tank top, little combat boots.
Yeah.
Right? That would have been very cute.
Yes.
In my mind, there's a scene that was cut away from, right? It's like, he's like, oh my God, cut. But then the scene is actually, yes, Dom, that's your son.
Right.
His middle name is Marcos. Yeah. Doesn't have a first name yet.
Doesn't have a first name. I wrote that down. So what's the baby's name? Blank Marcos Neves. Waiting for you to come around. What? Just name the kid. Oh, that part was great. That part was great.
Yeah, what'd she say? When I realized I was pregnant, you had just realized Letty was alive. I was going to tell you after your honeymoon. I think there were opportunities. Like, you should have mentioned it. Of any people to mention it to, the guy who is constantly talking about family, like, you're probably going to be able to slide it in here. Because, I guess, is it at the end of Fast 5 that Neves and Hobbs go and tell Dom and the crew, you're fine. You're all free. It's that easy.
Yeah.
That would have been the time to me. Because Dom even says, like, you can stay here if you want. And she's like, nah, I'm heading back to my family. Not my son, the cops. I'm heading back to work with the cops. Like, have the conversation then. This is, I guess it's not totally after the honeymoon, but it seems like the perfect time to get your cards on the table here. Considering Dom is going to be all over the place. Like, there's a chance they never run into each other again. I think a missed opportunity by Neves, to be quite honest.
Yeah. Neves definitely telling Dom she wanted him to decide on the child's first name. It's like that thing, you got to see the baby.
Yeah.
You got to see the baby before you name the baby. But Marcos, that's the middle name. We get some acting here from Vin, JD, double tears, Nora noted.
looked totally fake to me.
That
was the
exactly what she
thing
said.
that I've seen in these movies. I thought, are those just glued on there? Because they were lingering for so long, and then finally one drops. I was like, man, that's me every morning when I put my eye drops in every day. You know, it did not look real at all. But I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't know. Are
they on the plane right now? Is this where this cell is?
Okay,
this glass box that Neves and the baby's in. Okay, that's what I thought. I just want to make sure. He's broken up about it. Don't worry, we see a necklace in one of these shots. That's going to become important later on. I can't believe that this necklace is turning more and more into an important character in this series.
Just add Cypher and Rhodes to the list of characters who have shared a scene with this necklace. Yep. This necklace, I would say, probably goes Dom number 1, Brian's still number 2, and then Necklace is probably coming in number 3 for the biggest stars in the series.
This one, huge. Necklace plays a massive part. No one noticed the blinking necklace, though.
Just kept it there the whole time.
Yeah, why? Where was it hanging? It was
just on a bar.
Just a bar or a nail that was sticking out.
She'll like that. We'll keep that up there.
That's it's like a baby ornament for the little Marcos there to paw at or whatever. Okay, so anything else with this reveal here, really, to at least to the audience? You know, there's a baby. It's his. Oh my God! Now it makes sense. Now we know why he's doing this. Mm-hmm. True family over just the other family.
Blood is thicker than water.
Yeah. Okay. Nothing else to add. In New York City, let's go there. Cypher sends Dom in a 71 Plymouth GTX to retrieve a nuclear football, which is the briefcase with the codes, held by the Russian Minister of Defense. Prior to the theft, Dom briefly evades Cypher with the help, we learned later, of Raldo, and persuades Deckard and Owen's mother, Magdalene, who is Helen Mirren, to help him. Okay. I got so confused at this part in real time, at least. You knew Dom was up to something, of course. He's trying to evade God's eye and Cypher watching him with all these cameras to meet, like I said, the mother of Shaw. And I don't know if I tuned out or what I was doing while watching this, but this is a pretty quick scene. Am I wrong? Between the original scene, I know there's some little flashbacks, I guess, but between Dom and Mrs. Shaw, right? JD, almost remind me what happens here, because they come up with the plan, I guess, but we as the audience don't really know the full details.
We don't know what the plan is. Yeah. It is very quick. And, I was very successful turning my brain off before watching this movie, so I was happily just following along, blissfully unaware. But yeah, I mean, how he enlisted the help of Rolo. What's his name again? The Cuban guy, Raldo. Yep. So that we get that payoff, right? He backed up the van.
Later
we find out later, but we don't find out that till later.
Tears streaming down his face as he backs up the van. So it's an honor to help you, man.
But I love this kind of stuff where it's just sort of, I'm gonna evade. I'm tricking the people who are holding me captive. But yeah, not much is revealed other than we're meeting the Shaw mother. And
how does he know? How does he get in contact with
exactly?
her? That's the
Don't
one
think
thing
about
that
it,
me.
Skates. You can't think about it the amount of the timing of where they were going to be and the truck backing up and the kill switch on the car to make it stop working and the excuse to pull that whole the orchestration is just
spark plug
whatever. I mean, it's my magic spark plug that gives me my powers. But yeah, I mean, honestly, I was just so thrilled to see Helen Mirren and just be like, okay, here we go. I'm loving this. So.
Right. Yeah, I know, you're right. I shouldn't think about it. That's what we're doing here. It's like he either contacted her somehow to set up the meeting, or Nora's like, maybe somehow, like, she's such, like, sort of a mob boss in a way that she's always at this location is, like, a far-fetched possibility.
I got the impression that she had agreed to see him.
Yeah,
the
I
way
did too.
He was sort of brought in, but yeah, again, I don't know. I have no answer for you. I'm sorry.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, because I mean, Dom would think that Owen Shaw, at best, he's still laid up in the hospital. He would still be an enemy of Deckard Shaw. He doesn't know that Shaw is now helping his old crew. But I guess it's Dom's idea to meet up with Magdalene, and suddenly Dom, despite finding out that he became a parent like 15 minutes ago, he's like giving her parenting advice as like a 70-year-old woman. I'm like, you're the expert, Dom? You didn't even know that your son was alive until 5 seconds. Yeah, exactly. But I love the way that basically the Helen Mirren character came about is she saw Fast 7 and was like, it would be awesome to be a bad guy in one of these movies. And they're like, hey, you're a bad guy in one of these movies right away. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
That's awesome. Yeah. That is so great.
All right. So, yeah, this, you gotta, a little, let go of reality here, at least in terms of, I think, setting up this, like, when did he do it? How is he not being tracked by Cypher when this is going on? God's eye, all they tell us is, like, cameras everywhere, blah, blah, blah. He's in another restaurant. There's no security. There's no one with other cell phones around. I thought this thing also picked up, audio, too, this God's eye. Couldn't they be hearing all of this? Anyway. It happens.
He hands her an electronic device, like, hack that one.
Yeah. So... we then get somewhere in here the team at the toy shop where they're in New York. They're have their choice of all these vehicles that have been seized in, mainly from drug lords and stuff like that. But there's some military vehicles in here. Let's get some more building between the characters, especially Hobbs and Shaw in one of these scenes at the toy shop where they're bonding over weird threats back and forth to each other and engine blocks and stuff like that. Yeah. Just, just building that romance. And I'm sure Rachel was loving this scene.
Oh, totally. That's when she said the Fast and by Curious line.
Oh,
but then they're starting to soften up to one another. There's that sort of jab, jab, jab. And then they both sort of go, you got me.
They said that was another Rock ad-lib. That last line, he's like, I'm going to kick your teeth so far down your throat, you got to stick a toothbrush up your ass to brush your teeth. That was apparently a Rock ad-lib that they both reacted to, and they kept it. And you can tell Jason Statham's laughing.
Yep.
And I guess, I don't know, it seems to me that you only hear these stories about this movie about The Rock. Maybe everybody else is sticking to the script, or maybe he's just got a better agent who wants to get that stuff out there. But anytime I see... one of these insults is just something off the top of the dome from Dwayne Johnson, I'm like, I believe it. I totally believe it. Let him go.
So we now get another action scene here because, like I told you, Cypher has Dom trying to get this suitcase from this the Russian Minister of Defense. Cypher hacks into the electronic systems of many cars, remotely controlling them by way of auto drive, causing them to disable the convoy so that Dom can take the football. This is a long scene here, but these are all those cars you're seeing, all these pileups that Trey was seeing in Cleveland when they were shooting this back in 2016. It's happening in NYC, of course. The team, though, intercepts Dom in their cars with a whole bunch of carpoons.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, man, they're back. So many of them. But he somehow escapes this. And then seemingly kills Deckard in the process. I mean, he shoots him point blank.
Yeah.
Letty then catches up to Dom. She's got the pick 6 on the nuclear football here, but she's ambushed and then nearly killed by Cypher's enforcer, Tormund, or Connor Rhodes, before Dom stops him. And then in retaliation, Cypher has Rhodes execute Nevis in front of Dom and then threatening to kill his son next. So... we get the zombie cars, JD. Were you a fan of this scene?
I was.
Okay.
I thought, again, who cares? This is awesome. Look at all those cars. Like, there's an overhead shot of all the cars. They literally look like zombies I've seen in a million zombie movies.
Yep.
Just running and just crashing into stuff. And, as somebody who's a little bit afraid of AI. It kind of got, gave me the heebie-jeebies a little bit, like,
sure.
Could this happen? I don't know. It's semi-plausible, at least. I mean, they have self-driving cars. I mean, when she's like, make it rain, and the cars are just, falling from the sky, it was cool. The harpoon scene was there's this moment where he's shaking them off one by one. Roman, fine, okay. But when the Rock's harpoon is in the driver's side door, and he doesn't open the door, he just rams the door with his shoulder. The shoulder he's been shot in twice by my count already. So, and then it was enough to the car goes flipping and flying, and it was just like okay, sure. I mean, it's just fun to see the harpoons and everybody, like, everything has to be done in cars, right? Like, you can't get out and grab them or anything. It's got to be
car 'em.
It's got to be from a car. So, I mean,
I just didn't understand how he got out of basically roped, harpooned by 5 different vehicles. And I was so confused. All they kept saying for, like, the reason was they just kept amping up how much horsepower he had in the car. That's all they kept saying. It's like, 1,000, no, 2,000, no. Somebody says like 3,000. Like, okay, that explains it.
Shaw says try 5,000.
Oh, 5,000.
Okay, try a million. Try a million.
It's a lot because you have him pinned and he's somehow like shaking you off like a wild stallion or something, like bull or something. I don't know.
He knows to go for Roman. I think that's the key. Roman's the weak link here, man. So. When they did the drop out of the plane, he got lost in the woods. He eventually comes back to help save him. He couldn't talk the box into the police station in Fast 5. So Dom knows, look, when push comes to shove, I'm just gonna smash into Roman. He cares more about having a cool car than actually being able to use it. So he smacks into it. I was dying laughing at 2 lines in this. The first is from Cypher, who, she's like, find all of the cars we can hack. And they're like, there's over 1,000 of them. Hack them all! Shuck away, boys! And it's instantly
hack away, boys.
Hack them all. That, to me, was hilarious. And then once they have harpooned Dom, I think it's Letty who says the line, watch the drag or the line will snap. I'm like, that's what you say when you're bass fishing, not when you're trying to catch a guy in a car. I'm like, yeah, you got to set your drag to make sure it doesn't pull too hard on you. But, we also get another call back a little bit later. Shaw tracks down Dom after they're both out of their cars, after he's escaped from the harpoons.
Yep.
They thought this was going to be a street fight.
Oh, yeah.
Blast him. Completely blast him. I think he hits him twice before they go off. And then, Dom is pretty cavalier with the nuclear football. Like, Letty just takes it from his hands. No problem.
But is this a part of Dom's plan?
Do you think so? That was his original plan? Like,
maybe.
Help me do all this kind of stuff. But, I mean, he just had the meeting. Like, what's he setting up with Shaw's mom if this is the original plan? To have Letty come and take the thing.
Right, yeah, right. Maybe
well, I mean, improvising is what they do best.
Yeah, that's
so
true.
Clearly they're trying to get on the same page there. But I did think Dom should have been a little bit more protective now that he is stealing nuclear launch codes.
Yeah.
That's quite a level up for Dom Toretto. There's a little bit later on where Cypher is kind of like berating him. She's like, this has gotten too big for you, we're doing all this kind of stuff. And like at this point, Dom has then stolen this EMP and nuclear launch codes. I wish he was like, you're right. I was just trying to steal DVDs. Like,
I just wanted a
you're totally right.
television.
Can I just take my family and go home and leave the life? Brian's loving it. We don't even call that guy anymore. Can I go to the beach?
Yeah, that's a great point. I will say, too, with the zombie cars, it did look cool. It looked like they literally crashed like 1,000 cars in this scene. I didn't mind the idea to slow down the limo that had the Russian Ministry of Defense, by just, dropping 1 million cars and basically blocking them. And that's when Dom, badass Dom, comes up with the... chainsaw, basically. I thought that was...
SWAT gear.
Yeah, I was like, all right, Dom, probably it's a little overkill, I think, but... yeah, I thought that part did look cool how they like pinned it down, I guess, to then ultimately get the briefcase.
Yeah.
And what do you think about? Were you shocked at all when Cypher and Connor basically kill Neves and they're like, well, you know, you basically blew this, or you didn't do as well as you should have, and we're amping up the stakes here and we're killing her. I mean, is she dead? I don't know. If she comes back, then I'm done. She's got to be dead.
If she comes back,
she has to be dead.
If she comes back, like the ultimate fake out by Cypher, because that would have meant, I guess, Cypher like puts a bulletproof vest on her before shooting her. Hey, she's next level though. I wouldn't put it past her.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you know, it was. I think it was her plan all along. It was just a matter of when she was going to kill her, and it just added to her villainous. You know, like I just hope that she doesn't end up on their team, you know, down the road, because it's one thing to kill Han, you know, for revenge, but to kill, you know, a mother in front of her baby son and the father of that child. If she ends up on the team, then that's when I'm out. You know.
Okay, that'll do it for you. Yeah, Neves, man, she is a tragic character in this Fast and Furious franchise. When you really think about it, like how she got into this and what's happened to her, not a lot of good. And now she's in theory dead. I would like to think she's at least gone. Bang bang. Who's taking care of little Marcos there after her?
That's good.
Her
good
death.
Question.
You know, we never got Cypher.
Matt?
It's got to be Hacker Matt.
Yeah, he's such a good dad. So Cypher's like, yeah, you're doing great, honey.
Oh, it's great. I hope so. Because like, I thought we might get a weird part. Like you see it a million times in movies like this before. Like Cypher, like, I want that child, or like we learned that Cypher could never have children, or that classic thing, and like this one will be mine. But she doesn't do that at all. She couldn't care less about that baby. She's like, forget it. Okay, so we basically are now going to Russia. I mean, we've been all over the globe here. Dom is going to infiltrate a military separatist base in Russia in a modified 68 Dodge Charger to use the EMP device to disable their security and then to disable a nuclear submarine, enabling Cypher to hijack it and attempt to use its arsenal to trigger a nuclear war. That's the plan here. This is why we're, you know, it was like, basically it was like God's eye to the EMP device, to now the submarine, and then to, you know, nuclear warfare, I guess. Though they are once again intercepted by the team, who are able to shut down the sub's nuclear weapons and then drive out toward the sea gate. This is where we get them on the ice. That would prevent the sub from leaving into open waters while being pursued by the separatists. Okay, so lots here. Where did you want to start with this one, Trey, of us in Russia with this whole plan with the submarine?
Great line from Hobbs. I think he's talking to, it must be Little Nobody. He's like, you know, stop following all these rules. Saddle up, be a man, and save the goddamn world. Yeah, let's go, bud. Yeah. I also like that Mr. Nobody keeps calling Hobbs Luke. Like he calls him Luke every time. I think it's funny. But, you know, I like the fact that they set this up rather than in Fast 6, where you're like, all right, we got to go take this plane down. That's all they say. You know, they got to take the plane down, and it ends up being an 18-mile runway. This one, they're getting you ready for it. They're like, it's 10 miles away. We're going to be driving on this for 10 miles, so buckle up, because things are going to get exciting here. I also like once Dom takes down the gates with the EMP and Cypher takes control, because you're not really totally sure what's happening here still. So you have Ramsey literally say, in layman's terms, she just carjacked a submarine.
Yeah.
Thank you for the exposition. Great moment with Letty, uppercuts a guy in the nuts, pushes him into a spinning propeller. Hobbs comes over. Ugh, nasty. We get some more carpooning. You know, a great line from Roman where he shoots a bunch of snowmobilers. Yeah. There's snowmobilers out there. They've got all kinds of vehicles chasing from Cypher's team. Number 11, my ass.
Yeah,
and then eventually we get the flying rocket men up on the plane, but sticking down on the ice, I think it looks cool. It looks amazing for sure. And I mean, there's also the comedy of why in the world Roman would bring a Lamborghini to Russia, to the taiga in Russia to be doing this, but it ended up being funny. I think some of the visuals are so good. This is like, if you're talking unbelievable stunts, like somehow destroying a submarine that's underwater, I think probably takes the number one. I don't know if it's more unrealistic than jumping from skyscraper to skyscraper to skyscraper, but I don't know. There are parts of it that definitely work for me and parts of it where I'm like, okay, so we're just going to keep turning on and off the propeller, having this hack off between Cypher and Ramsey.
I was like, the hack off.
Okay, it's like, yeah, we gotta, like you're saying, Skeets, Ramsey doesn't have much to do in this movie.
No.
She's just riding shotgun with Tej for the majority of it. Like, give her own car or something like that. Giselle got to drive her own car. Mia did. Letty obviously does. She's probably the number 2 driver at this point. Why can't Ramsey drive a car? I think they should have given her some keys, but they finally give her something to do, and it's like, turn it on? No, she turned it off. Okay, I got to turn it back on. Whoa, she turned it off. Okay, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on, turn it on. So yeah, a lot of backs and forth, but I don't know. There's enough cool parts that I'm like, this is working for me.
Yeah, for some reason, this like little hack off between Cypher and Ramsey reminded me of the scene in The Social Network where they're like they're having like in the dorm like a coding battle or something like that. Sure. That's all I was reminded of. I'm like, oh, dude, they should be doing shots while they do this, getting drunk while they're trying to hack each other's hack here. Yeah, JD, what'd you think of this entire Russian thing? There's a lot going on here, including The Rock. I guess just like pushing a bomb away, a missile on the ice.
The torpedo, yeah.
The torpedo, yeah, just steering it in another direction.
Yeah, just get out of your car that you're driving, and slide on the ice and just gently redirect it towards your enemy's car.
Yeah, smooth.
I mean, sure, why not? I mean, I don't know. It had a sub in it. I love subs. Shout out to Crimson Tide. Shout out to Hunt for Red October. Like if there's a sub in a movie, I'm gonna enjoy it. But yeah, the hacking stuff back and forth is so tedious. But at least they were fast about it. And how come hackers never use a mouse? I never noticed that.
Slows them down.
I guess it's all
can't take their hands off the keyboard.
It's just typing code, right? Like,
yeah.
But what are you typing? And how are you in so easily? But who cares? It's just like turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. You guys went over it. Yeah, and also the sub is huge. And why don't you just drive away from the sub? You know what I mean? Like the sub.
Yeah,
like it's not going to turn. You're in a Lamborghini. You go that way, right?
Yes,
or a tank.
That's a great point.
But
flank them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Or but whatever.
You're saying when they're being chased by that sub, like they're breaking the ice behind them, like. Yeah, why don't you guys just go
to the side.
left or right? Yeah,
right, exactly. Yeah. But again, it was the visuals are spectacular, and it was fun. And I liked Roman when he shot those the snowmobilers, and it's just really cool to see the snowmobiles and the bodies of the guys just slide past him. Basically, it's just like that's a cool visual. And I thought he had a good line. And you know what? Shout out to Roman, because I read an upsetting article in the Washington Post where we heard about Vin Diesel has this thing where he can't lose a fight. Well, it turns out that Statham has a similar clause in his contract, and so does The Rock.
My God.
So I was so disappointed when I read that, but Roman, he just continually gets dunked on.
Yeah.
He is the most comfortable with himself, Tyrese, because he's able to be dunked on and continually have his ass handed to him in these movies. And so shout out to you, Tyrese, and I appreciate that you're not afraid to look like a fool on camera for our entertainment.
Right.
So get it together, the rest of you three. I got to know where they're going to go from here. They all have to be, friends, right? Because they don't want to submit to each other. Yeah, exactly. So, so shout out to Tyrese. I mad respect for him.
I thought this was his best movie, his character, of course, Roman, since the dreadful Too Fast, Too Furious, which we said he was great. He was a star in that horrible movie. But, a lot of the lines they had given him over the last couple of movies were cringe. I know he's supposed to be the humor in these scenes a lot of the time, and he continued to be in this one. But I actually thought there were some funny payoffs. And, you're right. He got a little badass moment here out on the ice after picking the Lamborghini, which was stupid. One thing I'll say, overall, especially as these last couple of movies have gone on, and this one, it went to the extreme. This crew, of the Fast and the Furious, man, think about what they're doing, who they're trying to save, the world a lot of the times, each other from death, babies, family. And they're just cracking jokes 24/7 in the cars to each other. That's all they're doing. Yeah. No one's that concerned. Everybody is just keeping it light and just talking on the comms back and forth, making fun of each other when there's some really heavy shit going on here. And it's I get it, it's just because it's the movie, cool action scenes and then some humor, but it's shouldn't you guys be a little more locked in here? That they are always, in this one specifically, they're always making jokes anytime they're in a car talking to each other. But
yeah, 100%. My favorite of this is when I think it's Hobbs and Roman are in the car, and Roman is getting upset as he usually does, and Hobbs responds to him, "Why are you always yelling?" Well, Hobbs, it's because you're going 150 miles on the ice and there's a submarine right behind you chasing you down. In this scenario, I'm with you. You kind of got to be a little bit loud.
Yeah, exactly. And in that particular scene, The Rock's plan is to get hit by a missile. That's his plan. Guys, get in front of me. I'll take the hit. And Tyrese is like, what? Roman, you should be yelling. You should be shitting your pants. Also, he must have hypothermia because he just came out from the ice.
It's cold in here. It's so cold.
And then he says later on in the movie, we're jumping to the end, but I was thinking that the whole time too. I was how is this guy not suffering from hypothermia? To the point where he ends up taking a selfie out on the water before he then finally says, let's get out of here, it's cold. Yeah. Maybe they have what do you call those? The seats that warm up in one of those vehicles. Heating seats, I guess. Yeah.
One of my favourite ad reads we do here is from Masterclass, because Masterclass has an enormous stable of talented individuals from all manner of fields and expertise to help you become better at something or simply learn a new skill, even if it's something that you might not think you're all that interested in. For example, I have no real desire to become a Hollywood actor, but after watching Samuel L. Jackson's class on acting, I'm considering a bit of a side hustle gig here, because Samuel L. Jackson, look, he could act in Paw Patrol. He could be a voiceover in that, and I would watch that episode. I've followed his career very closely, and I love the fact that I don't ever pigeonhole him into one specific role or character. He could be a gangster hitman like he was in Pulp Fiction, just as convincingly as he was a coach, mentor, and father figure to troubled teenagers in Coach Carter. And his masterclass course will teach you how he's able to adapt and perform these roles through character and voice development while working with directors from various backgrounds, all the while having extensive requirements and demands placed on him for each role. It's one of my absolute favorites, and with over 100 classes from a range of world-class instructors, that thing you've always wanted to do is a little closer than you think with Masterclass. I highly recommend you check it out. Get unlimited access to every Masterclass, and as a No Dunks listener, you'll get 15% off an annual membership. Go to masterclass.com/nodunks. That's masterclass.com/nodunks for 15% off Masterclass. That, my friends, is some stats. Those are the facts.
In 2018, the fantasy sports experts at Sleeper realized that fantasy basketball was broken. Games were being won and lost based on whose players had more scheduled games that week. It made no sense and required very little strategy. So in 2020, Sleeper released a brand new way of playing fantasy basketball. It's called Game Pick, and it's only available on Sleeper. In Game Pick, owners pick a single game per week for each starter to count towards their team's total score, ensuring an even number of games played between opponents. The days of losing because your opponent's players simply had more scheduled games to play in that week are over. The days of mindless daily busy work are over. The days of giving up halfway through the season because of that busy work, also over. In Game Pick, you pick one game per week for each player based on player matchups, home versus away, opponent's defensive ranking, pace of play, and more. All of that adds up to more strategy and less busy work. Whether you prefer redraft, keeper, or dynasty leagues, Game Pick has you covered. Sleeper cracked the fantasy basketball code. If you play fantasy football, if you prefer building out a weekly strategy versus daily busy work, you are going to love Game Pick. Download the Sleeper app and start a league with your friends today. You will not be disappointed.
So meanwhile, all of this going on in Russia on the ice with the sub, all of this stuff, the hacking, the breaking through things, fleeing from the separatists and all that. Meanwhile, Deckard, who faked his death with the help of his mom, teams up with Owen, and they infiltrate Cypher's plane to rescue Dom's son while Owen takes control of the plane. So, once Deckard reports that the child is safe, he lets Dom know. Then Dom, out there, because Dom is not in this scene, of course, with everybody out on the ice. At first, Dom turns on Cypher, kills Rhodes, kills Tormund there, avenging Nevis's death before rejoining his team. Deckard baby plane scene. Trey, my favorite scene in the movie by a mile. Oh. Everybody's nodding here. Everybody's in agreement. This scene is awesome. Anytime they went back to it. I will say, JD, I want to get your take on this. The only thing that could have made it better would have been to be playing the Alvin and the Chipmunks music while he's kicking ass.
Yeah, I don't know
they do
why
that in like superhero movies all the time.
Totally.
Now, and I love it every single time. And why didn't they do that? It's been great.
I don't know. Is that song a Christmas song? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so maybe it was because it's a Christmas song that they decided not to, but I guess. Blown opportunity in my mind, absolutely should have been that. Yeah. Or maybe it was because they were cutting back and forth.
I think that might be the reason.
That must be it. But
it would have been a little more jarring, but it would have been great. I think they still could have made that work, cutting back to the funny scene. Because it's again, we see Deadpool has done it. And many other ones have done it. Guardians of the Galaxy, I think, have done it.
They're not shy about using tropes that have been used 100 times before. So, you're spot on, and I agree. The best scene, I think it's the best scene in the series that I've seen so far in 8 movies, and Statham, I think he's the only one that could pull it off. You know, in this cast, anyways. Yeah, I loved it. After watching that scene, I was like, this movie can do no wrong now. You got me. You got me.
And it came near the end, which was nice. They usually put these really cool scenes sort of earlier in the movie, but this one they saved to the end. Trey, you loved it too.
Oh, yeah. This is no doubt the best scene in the movie, and I love that it comes right at the end. You know, we first kind of get the tip-off, there's these random flying rocket men. I sat up on the edge of my seat. Interesting. Who are these fellows? Yeah. Deckard and Owen, and we get a line about, you and planes don't have a good history. Deckard says to Owen, no shit. Says Owen. I love it. I think you're exactly right on all fronts here, JD. Statham pulls this off perfectly because he's got, a cool fighting style. They've got the incredible scenes where, he slides the baby out of the way, goes and does moves, then comes back to the baby, and every time he, comes back, he's got a playful face. Jason Statham, I actually think is charming in those little 20-second scenes where he's, talking to Marco's future Brian and kind of trying to calm him down, and, it's going to get loud in here. He puts on his little earmuffs. I think that's all... it's just a great juxtaposition of cute and savage all at the same time, and it totally works for me. I'm going to start telling people that Fast 8 is my favorite Christmas movie. People tell you Die Hard... right? People tell you Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Well, it is a Christmas movie.
Okay, this has a Christmas song playing throughout the climax of the movie.
Quietly, but yes, yep.
Quietly, yeah. And then it's also filmed out in a snowy location.
Sure.
Out there on the ice above the submarine. I'm watching it in December to see if this holds up as a Christmas movie, and then that's going to be like, oh, you think Die Hard is? Well, I think Fate of the Furious is.
That's a great take.
Yeah. But yeah, it's so good Statham almost steals the movie here. And I also think it's very weird. We'll get into this a little bit later, but apparently, at this point in time, Vin and The Rock are not getting along. Okay. So they share no scenes together in this movie. Like, they're not in a scene together. They didn't act together. That's how mad they were at each other.
Holy crap.
And it basically comes down to The Rock being like, Vin, you're being unprofessional here. And I don't know exactly what went down, but it's very strange that they don't interact with each other. Like, these are the two biggest stars in the movie, and they're not really interacting with each other, which leaves... Statham has to be playing off somebody. He plays off The Rock quite a bit in this one, and he plays off a baby here, and it's just incredible. That's why they had to bring him back.
Yeah.
Is The Rock not in the final scene?
Yeah, but I don't think they ever talk to each other.
No,
they're all there on the New York City rooftop or wherever the heck they are. Yeah.
Interesting. I remember there was a beef for sure. Mm-hmm. But now I got to go back and watch it and see that they're never together.
Well, they're sort of together when Dom runs them off the road, I guess, too. But yeah, there's no talking to each other really.
Right.
Which is wild. I had no thought of that. So, and what is the reason? Or you want to save that till a little bit later, TK?
Let's say.
Okay, just save that
a little bit.
Okay, because let's finish this movie. We're actually getting pretty close here to the end. So, infuriated Cypher is that Dom is turned and this is not going well here. She fires an infrared homing missile at Dom, but he breaks away from his team. He maneuvers around. He sort of goes up a mountain basically with his car, and then he circles back and takes it over the sub, which is like half in the water, half out. Boom, missile into the sub. Causes a massive explosion. Though Dom, for being a great driver, doesn't line this one up perfectly. Like clips the what would you even call it? The fin, I guess, of the sub. Yeah, the top part there. He clips it. Otherwise, he would have been cool. He would have just been able to drive right over it, but he sort of spins, destroys his charger, and then the team, like Guardians of the Galaxy, actually, like a bunch of brutes here. They form a vehicular blocked around Dom.
A firewall.
Yeah. Oh, shout out to Ramsey. This is Norton. Shielding him from this ensuing explosion, which I guess just takes a while to kick off. They got time to drive over there and set up their cars. And that prevents the fire, this fireball explosion, from hitting Dom. Though why doesn't it blow up their cars? I'm not sure.
Nah.
Anyway, submarine destroyed. They've saved him. He saved the world. Everybody's happy. And then okay, we got one more scene after this, really, one or two, but this firewall, as you called it, JD. I know this sounds like this entire movie you've just been kicking back, sitting next to Rachel, feet up, not a care in the world, just entertain me. So I guess this didn't upset you, as this one really, I was rolling my eyes a lot at this ending.
Oh, totally. Again, it's back to everything has to be done in a car. It all has to be cars. What? Like, I understand, but we're 8 movies in. We could, I don't know.
We didn't need this part.
We didn't need it.
I really don't. I would have been totally fine with him successfully ramping up over the submarine. Boom, missile hits it. He drives, does a cool spin, says Bob's your uncle, and everyone's like, awesome.
Yeah, but
you're
they
back,
have
baby.
to.
Why did they have to?
Why did
they have to save him?
The family has to come together.
Yeah.
You don't turn your back on family, even though he definitely turned his back on them. But he thanks them at the next scene. He's like, "Hey, thanks for not turning your back on me." And the unfortunate thing is that they have to do it in cars. That's the frustrating thing. But It would have been better if one of them or all of them happened to be in fire retardant suits, right?
Yeah,
and then they all sort of run around him and give him a group hug. I would have been way better with that.
I'm not sure I would have been better with that, but...
All I could think was, man, good thing Dom wore a jacket here, because usually he's going arms out. It would be A, freezing, and B, you're getting singed by that gigantic fireball. But he had his leathers on, protecting himself, so that was smart.
He did. Yeah, I could have done without the shielding part for sure, but they do it. And we go back to the plane here because Deckard reaches I guess the front of the plane, or he gets to Cypher. He confronts her. And she says, "Peace out. Bye. I've got a parachute. You don't." And she, hacks a little code there. Boom, door opens. She jumps out, and Shaw's basically got he can't chase her. He doesn't have a parachute. And also, there is a baby there.
He's got a baby.
So he's forced to save Dom's son from being sucked out of the plane. And it's fine. I loved, again, back to this whole Deckard with the baby scene, the little headphones on him, hilarious. And like Trey said, I loved when they went back to him after killing guys and just taking guys down left and right. Like, they would do from the perspective of the baby, like if you're looking out as Marcos and you're seeing Jason trying to coup you and stuff like that. And the baby, star of this film too.
Good baby.
This baby's incredible. Yeah, they got some great scenes out of this baby. Some great reactions. Doesn't the baby wave at one point? Was that fake? I couldn't tell if that was fake. A little fake arm that went up there, but anyway, they got it. So to end the movie, Mr. Nobody and.
Hold on. Who lands the plane?
The pilot.
Yeah, I think he's still alive.
That was a weird part because the other Shaw was in the cockpit and then holds a gun to the pilot.
Oh, yeah.
Land the plane. It's like, okay, you don't have to hold a gun.
All right.
Yeah. Owen didn't do a whole lot. I mean, he helped them get on there and kill some guys at the beginning. But then, he's just up in the cockpit.
He's still recovering.
That's true.
Good point. Taking it easy.
I need to ask my brother about this because no matter what in movies, why are those pilots wearing the traditional pilot outfit? You know what I mean? It's like you're working for an international cyber terrorist. Just wear a hoodie or something. You don't. It's like, I mean, I admire the professionalism, I guess, but I just jeans and a t-shirt or something.
Maybe you legally have to wear that to fly a plane, no matter if you're working for a cyber terrorist. Okay, so Mr. Nobody and Eric there, they visit Dom and his team in NYC to report that the Cypher is still at large. Duh, we started jumping out of a plane with a parachute. We know she's going to be around at some point in this franchise. Hobbs has his record cleared. He's offered his DSS job back, but he declines in order to spend more time with his family, especially his daughter. Deckard delivers Dom his son. Thought this part was a little strange. The timing. He hasn't seen the baby yet. I guess they've been flying in this plane and they've gotten back from Russia, and it's like you would have thought they would have already had the baby in Dom's hands, but there he is to deliver the son. Puts his differences aside with Dom and Hobbs, and then Dom names his son Brian. So it's Brian Marcos Toretto?
I guess.
Nevis Toretto?
Nevis Toretto? Brian Marcos Nevis Toretto?
Yeah, I hope so. And they celebrate there on the rooftop. And we get a little bit of the necklace had the tracker. This is where this is revealed to us. Mm-hmm. Again, that blinking light that nobody picked up on. And of course, the necklace as the star. And there it is. Then that is really the movie. The Fate of the Furious. Everybody's happy and we'll be setting up for the next one. But anything to add before we get to the Fast and the Furious parts of the podcast, JD?
Again, I was riding a high from the baby scene, so all was forgiven from that point out. I did read that there was, and I was waiting for a cutscene, actually. And Jackson was like, fast forward it, and I'm like, no. I like it to happen naturally.
I like to imagine.
So you're saying you were looking for a mid or post credit scene?
Yeah, and it didn't happen. But then I read that there was a tease of Hobbs and Shaw that Vin Diesel insisted. They called the movie back. Trey, is this correct? Am I right on this?
I think so, yeah.
So they had already distributed the movies, the film, the actual film stock to the theaters, and Vin Diesel was like, I don't think so, and pulled them all back to remove the cutscene that was teasing Hobbs and Shaw. And I was just, Vin, what are you doing, man? What are you doing? I want to like you, Vin Diesel. I want to, but you keep giving me these reasons to be like, come on, man. Anyways, I thought that was interesting.
Okay.
Yeah, he's being a bit of a controlling father to his family here. Is basically what it comes down to. I was like, why did Deckard give Dom's son a British boxing glove? That was a weird thing to be like. It's always been about cars and bringing gifts of, cars. And I know at one point Dom says to Shaw, only American muscle for my son.
Right.
And you're thinking he's going to pull out, I guess, like Deckard is driving a Jaguar earlier, but maybe that just doesn't read necessarily as a British car or something. Right, so they're like, well, we got to put something with the Union Jack on there. And it's a boxing glove because, I mean, he is good at fighting.
Yeah.
But we're talking cars here, buddy.
Well, yeah, and also their like continuing joke is this a street fight or not? You're not wearing boxing gloves in a street fight.
Good point.
Yeah. But I think, maybe that's where they're trying to like jam that in there too.
I will say, another set of goosebumps when Dom names his son Brian. I'm a total simp for this guy.
Yeah,
and then Dom says Grace for the first time ever, which is great because I think at the end they're like, you know what? We've had a lot of people praying at the end of these movies, but it's never been you, Vin. Take a turn.
You are Jesus after all.
Yeah.
I think that baby brought a lot out of Vin Diesel, his acting too. I think it was always like... he like gave that baby a little kiss on the head at one point, and it was like, he's like, this has made him warmer. He's dropped like the macho, act a little bit, or he's toned it down a tiny bit here with this baby. I hope this little Brian sticks around. I'd like to see him in a little tank top. I will say that again, but that's okay. Okay, yeah. So then we just a little zoom out into the New York City skyline. So they live in New York now too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Turn their back on California. Weird.
Well, his house got blown up.
Oh yeah,
good point. Where to go?
Well, they have money because unless they're renting this place, that was a very big rooftop in.
Great patio.
Appeared to be a great spot in New York City. So. Okay, so that's the movie. That's the Fate of the Furious. Let's do the fast. Our favorite scenes, cars, or quotes. Trey, let's start with you. What do you got at the top of your list here?
The top two scenes for me are both of the Shaw fight scenes, basically breaking out of jail with Hobbs early on and saving the baby. I think just every part of those is playing to the strengths, particularly of Jason Statham, and The Rock, at least in that first one. That's what these guys should be doing, is kicking ass and making jokes, and that's all that is like fight, 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 get off a one-liner, fight, 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 get off a one-liner, and then later on, when it's just Shaw and the baby, similar sort of stuff, only now it's in an even more enclosed space. I love when they put a fight in somewhere small where you got to be using your surroundings to kind of get around and, enhance your attacks. And I think both of them are choreographed great. I think they both play really well in the movie. And, they're both like high tension scenes where that our heroes are going to be getting out, but at least they're in some serious adverse situations, completely outnumbered. We've already seen Shaw be able to go through an entire hospital of guards, so you're not totally worried about it, but the way he's able to pull it off, I think, are really great. And you're like, after seeing this movie, you're like, no wonder they're going to be spinning off this character. He just came in. He had 17 lines in the 7th movie. We got to get more out of Jason Statham, and they really, really do in this one.
Yeah, and it's like they figured out, I mean, it's sad but true, but like Dom needs his car to do cool things. These guys don't.
No.
Exactly.
Hobbs and Shaw, we do not need to have them in vehicles. In fact, it's to their detriment. We should have them just, kicking ass and going through big walls like they're the Kool-Aid Man, and stuff like that. So, no brainer why they want to do a movie with these guys, a spinoff. And like this whole dynamic in real life between Vin, sounding to be jealous, really, of their success or fame or whatever you want to call it. It's so strange, but Weird. Okay, so what do you have, JD, as your fast part of this podcast?
I had the exact same scenes. The baby fight. I loved the jetpacks. As soon as you see those jetpacks, you're just like, whoa! And I am so sick of cars now. Like, a little peek behind the curtain. I've watched. These are the only movies I've watched. I've watched eight Fast and Furious movies straight. And that's it. I haven't watched anything else.
I slipped in a Suicide Squad, actually. The new one.
I see that's on my list.
I recommend it, too.
Okay. All right. Great. I can't wait. But, Trey summed it up perfectly. The Jason Statham ran away with this movie, I think, especially after the baby fight, but certainly the jail fight with The Rock and Statham. It was just incredible and just a delight to see.
Yeah. It just makes you want to fire up the transporter.
I've never seen the transporter.
I think you would enjoy it if you're a fan of Jason Statham, for sure. Yeah. One quote, I don't know if it's my favorite, but I was like, ugh. It was like perplexing. Somebody says when they're talking about Eric, this little nobody, the sidekick to Mr. Nobody, someone says, he's still green. And then I think it's Roman that says, yeah, like fresh baby shit.
Oh.
What a weird line.
So many weird lines in this.
Do you have any others, JD?
Well, that was part of what I hated about the movie.
Okay. Well, we can save it.
I'll get into it now because we're talking about it. But just again, I implore you, please hire a comedian or somebody. Just punch up the dialogue because it's just. Some of them are good. Trey, you mentioned a couple back earlier, but like at one point, Tormund says something like, says to Vin Diesel, "Move," and he said, "What did you say?" And then Vin says, "If I say it again, it'll be to a corpse." Cringe. When The Rock arrives at the prison. Hobbs, this is what Shaw says. Well. Luke Hobbs behind bars. Would you look at that? What? Well. That's like first draft bullshit.
Yeah.
Rock says to Jason Statham, "What are you gonna do? Apply for a job? Head asshole?" What? Again. Hobbs retorts, I think that tight T-shirt is cutting off the circulation to your brain. You should get a bigger size. Who is writing that? Who is writing it? You know what I mean? At one point, where The Rock says to Jason Statham, or to the group, while Shaw is trying to hack something, I think I should. I'm happy to slap that whisker biscuit right off his face. I paused the movie. I'm like, whisker biscuit? I Googled it. That's it. It's a thing. It's an actual. Yes, wow. It's an archery thing. It's like a circle with whiskers in it, and it's to hold the arrow steady, but it's whiskers so it can allow the feathers to go through. Okay. What are you talking? What his whiskers on his face? Also, Urban Dictionary, vagina. Again, doesn't it doesn't make any sense? You know what I mean? Like, it's not a thing.
The writing, these lines, yeah.
Yeah, but then they're said with such gusto that people are like, "Yeah, good burn," but not really. Actually, if you actually read them or look at them. Don't put the closed captions on for these movies because then you just see how lame the dialogue can be. But
maybe that's it. Maybe that's a tip.
Yeah.
We're a little far in now to give us that tip, JD. And then there's a lot of whispering too, and sometimes it helps to have those on. Any other while we're on the quotes part, Trey, that you want?
My favorite quote is when Mr. Nobody is getting the team together to chase down Dom, and he brings in Shaw to help the Fast team, and Hobbs says, "Will someone tell me why you put me in a room with this tea and crumpets eating criminal some bitch?" What an incredible delivery on this one. The some bitch was wild. This tea and crumpets eating criminal some bitch. I rewound that like 10 times when I was watching it just to keep hearing this delivery.
This one I watched on, where the hell was I watching this? Oh, I think I was streaming it through like direct stream or whatever the heck it's called now. I had to watch this with ads. 4 ads popped up during the movie. It was really strange.
Brutal.
Yeah. It gave me time to look at my notes, see what I maybe missed.
Are they like car ads at least?
No, I don't know. No, they just whatever they were just selling
Suave,
me toothpaste and
Pantene
stuff.
Pro-V.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so the Furious part. Because just to say, my favorite scene is by a mile, like I said, the Shaw part on the airplane where he's got the baby. It's very, very funny and it's incredible looking, and more of that. In fact, saved the movie, I'll say to me. The Furious, dumbest scene, other things you hated, or even random observations. Trey, you go first on this one.
I did not like the Cypher and Dom kiss. Completely thrown in, and that to me was like, the only reason this scene exists is so that we can tease this scene in a trailer. You're like, oh, wait, Dom has... a new love interest, and it didn't make any... It had zero impact on the story, except for Dom at one point asks, like, hey, why'd you do that? Not really any follow-up on anything from there, and it never goes anywhere because there's zero chemistry between Cypher and Dom, and, like, that's not Cypher's character at all, like, using her... Yeah, using her flirtatious ways or anything like that. She's serious. I hate the hack off. The hack off was brutal to me when they're like, oh, we turned on the propeller. No, we turned it off. No, we turned it on. No, we turned it off. I did not like that at all. Those were the two biggest problems for me.
Yeah, and then within that, too, we get the, I think it's Tej, the one guy that knows about this stuff. He's conveniently locked outside of the room where it's Roman and I believe it's Eric, right, are, like, trying to find this thing that they need to pull, right? To like sort of
like a chip, some sort of chip on the thing.
And it's like okay, yeah, we're like, and they're like, they both pull one at the same time. That sets off something else, and blah ha ha. All right, I'm with you on those. JD, do you agree, or you got something else to add?
I do agree, and I guess they didn't get the memo that, or maybe this is before they started. A lot of movies will shoot stuff and then put it in the trailer, but then it doesn't end up in the movie. And I guess they didn't realize they could do that because, the kiss was completely unnecessary and never pays off. The dialogue, again, I wish they would punch it up. I hated this scene where, this is one of many things, but it's when Roman was trying to sound out Russian.
Oh yeah. That's the part where he's in that room.
Right. And it's just like, okay. Little Nobody was completely a useless character. I don't know why they added him other than maybe as a replacement for Paul Walker. Is that possible?
Totally.
Yeah.
I thought he was totally the Brian replacement because most of his interactions, I feel like, are with Roman. And I actually feel like they have decent chemistry. Roman and Little Nobody, kind of cracking on each other back and forth. And you also notice, like, when they actually let Little Nobody drive, he's driving, like, Brian-style cars.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like, he's driving, like, I don't know, a Toyota or whatever. Apparently, Scott Eastwood, the actor, and Roman, Tyrese, and Brian, Paul Walker, we're all like really close friends in real life. So yeah, I think he's totally the Brian replacement.
And that is Clint Eastwood's son too, right? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Crazy. Learning.
I never even thought of like the Brian replacement part. That makes so much sense. I actually just thought, and it goes hand in hand now that I think about it, but like it's there, like Roman's been the punching bag for so long in this series, and he was at times too, but like that sort of got passed a little bit to the new guy. This guy, the protege, this green guy, and like everybody was dunking on him,
totally,
including Roman a lot of the time.
Yeah,
so.
Shit is definitely rolling downhill.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
Hate to be the new guy in these things, man. And also, they need to find something more for Ramsey to do.
Yeah, or she shouldn't be there. Like one or the other.
I think she's there to replace Gal Gadot, who was like a badass super soldier type. Why not have her do that stuff? We already have a tech guy. In Ludacris, so. Yeah. And I hate that they're always hitting on her. I get that she's hot and all that, but in 2021 workplace, it's inappropriate in my opinion. And, you know, I get that they're criminals and stuff, or they're outlaws, but still, I just don't like that dynamic. And that's, you know, just give her something.
Well, they come
cool
back to it at the end of the movie too, right? And she sort of like says, what does she say at the end?
Says,
like,
I
like both of you or something?
I like both of you, but can you tell me your last name?
Oh,
and that to me falls completely flat. Have they ever even said Ramsey's last name? Like,
is Ramsey even her real name?
Yeah.
Right.
I thought it was a hacker name.
Yeah.
yeah, tell me my real name. That would have been a great comeback. Like, I don't know. They haven't given her anything to do. And I also feel like, you mentioned it earlier, Skeets, Nevis has really had a shitty fast run here.
God.
She was the only incorruptible cop in all of Rio. Of course, 2 months into taking the job, she goes on the run with a criminal. She's with him for 1 week, gets pregnant. Dom finds out his wife is still alive but has amnesia, and Nevis gets left instantly. They don't even talk about it. Offers her to stay. She says no, even though at that time, pregnant with Dom's baby. Could have said something there. She goes back to the cops, her alleged family, who she just left, rather than the actual family she was with. She gets a new job, and then she gets kidnapped and murdered in front of her son. Like, they do absolutely nothing for her. Anytime they bring her back, you're like, uh-oh, something bad is going down for Nevis here.
Trey, I almost forgot. We did get a cameo from two of our favorites in the Fast and the franchise. When did it happen again?
They were...
The flashback, right?
Yeah, they save Deckard. Like, they pick up Deckard in the ambulance. Leo and Santos.
That's it, yes.
Yeah, and they've got Helen Mirren back, Shaw's mom in the back of the ambulance. And we get, I don't know if you want to call it a Pulp Fiction scene or a Crank starring Jason Statham scene, but that's exactly what it is. When he gets the adrenaline to the heart, you see his eyes open up and he pops right back up. Like, that's how the movie Crank, I think they maybe even made two of them. That's basically how they start. Like, they hook him up to a battery and he's like jump-started back to life, and it is exactly like that.
Wow. Yeah.
And so is the conceit that he's dead, clinically dead, and she brings him back to life? And if so, how? Like, was he actually shot by Dom? You know what I mean? Like, he shoots him twice.
Rubber bullets, yeah.
Yeah, maybe, I guess. But his heart, he needed to be resuscitated by adrenaline, I guess. That part of it, see, you can't think. You just can't think about it because it'll drive you mad, absolutely mad. Like when what's her face Cypher is saying, "Hey, I'm gonna. These are my plans. This is what I'm doing," and then finally it's like, I'm gonna steal a nuclear football. Then I'm gonna get a submarine, and she's telling this to Dom, and then he's like, "What? So you want to start a war? You're doing all this to start a war?" And she's like, "No, I want accountability." And this is the look he makes. It's just like, what are you talking about? Like, accountability for
he's
what?
Like, hold on. I think Marcos just shit his pants. Who's gonna clean that up?
Yeah, that was my face too when she said she wanted accountability.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
And she also, I feel like in that same monologue she's giving to Dom, she says something along the lines of like, family is a biological lie? It's like,
yeah.
Huh? What? Literally, what are you saying? Is that why you're whispering? Because you have, anything that was coming out of her mouth, I was like, you're just trying to use a lot of big words here to make her sound like the sophisticated next level criminal. And anytime I was just like left with Vin Diesel face, like, huh? Yeah. Excuse me?
Is she American? I know Charlize Theron is South African.
Yeah.
Is she American in this movie?
It's a good question.
We don't know, right? I don't think we were ever told. I know.
Yeah.
I felt like she was. There was no other reason to think she wasn't.
Well, she's so wrapped up in trying to be a mystery that she's forgotten who she is. Dom can tell that because she has her hair dyed blonde and she's wearing contacts.
Right. She kind of reminded me of the. I kept thinking of the Borg Queen. I know this is the wrong crowd, but if you ever saw that Star Trek movie where you actually meet the Queen of the Borgs. She kind of reminded me of that. Oh. Similar look, similar way, similar whispery, sort of calm, scientific approach to everything. But there are some people in the YouTube comments that'll get the reference. Probably
Queen of the Borgs. I know my buddy Dub and Steesh will be loving that reference. All right, well let's rank this bad boy. Let's see where it falls on your Fast and Furious leaderboard, guys. JD, we'll start with you. From 1 to 10, how would you rate The Fate of the Furious?
Yeah. So you and. I think this was you, Skeets, who put this little quote in from 1 to 10. How would you rate the Fast and Furious? And then there's a quote that says, the film received lukewarm reviews from critics, many of whom praised the performances and action sequences, but deemed the film unnecessary. Well, guess what? All film is unnecessary, right? So I'm not going to lie. Last time I was in a terrible mood. I had a headache. I was watching Seven, and I hated every minute of it. This, I must have been in a great mood because I loved every second of this. I had the time of my life. It's by far number 1 on my leaderboard.
Oh my God.
Well, not by far, but I'm going to give it a 9.5. I can't give it a 10.
What? Oh,
I just thought it was fun, and I turned my brain off, which is what I've been trying to do this whole time. 8 films in, I was finally able to do it and just enjoy the ride. I knew I was going on a roller coaster, and I just enjoyed the roller coaster and didn't ask questions. I didn't look down and see if the stanchions were actually sound or anything. It was rattling like crazy. Almost collapsed underneath me, but I made it to the end, and the baby scene, it was just incredible.
Kiss.
Just worth the price of admission. So 9.5. I won't bother going down my list because it's number 1.
Number 1 with a bang. Wow. Yeah. The Fate of the Furious, the first movie post Paul Walker's death. JD has as number 1 so far. I got a couple to go. Trey, what do you think? You've got a couple 10s in the mix. Is this right there, or is it a little lower to you?
This is the worst of the new era Fast and the Furious movies for me. Yeah, I feel like F. Gary Gray was kind of painted into a corner with the huge action scenes here. Fast 7, very air-centric. Almost everything in that one is cars don't fly. So we kind of have to be back to the ground or something underneath the ground. We get both, but we've already seen a bunch of cars seen. That was in Too Fast, Too Furious when they all come out of the garage. This, we get the zombie cars, which I think was great. I did really enjoy the zombie cars. The sub scene also is great, but kind of a sillier, better version of the plane scene from Fast 5, only we're trying to pull a sub up rather than pull a plane down. Charlize Theron, I think, is pretty good. She's always whispering, but still a good performance. She's sinister. I don't like that as a villain, she's rarely face-to-face with the people she's being a villain to, but that's just kind of the nature of her villain. I wish they would have done something more with Rhodes. Like, he's not really doing much there. No. Like, that's one of the cool things to me is watching these back and seeing, like, who was popular in 2016? You know, apparently it was Tormund Giantsbane. I was happy to see him around, but he doesn't do a whole bunch in this movie. No. I feel like the number 2 bad guy has had a lot more to do in some of these other Fast and Furious. Like Phoenix, is kind of a huge plot point in Fast 4 because he's the guy who ended up exploding Letty's car or whatever. I actually liked Scott Eastwood in his role. I liked having a new Brian back around. But the fact that the 2 biggest stars in the movie can't stand to be around each other, I think, is a huge problem with this. I'm giving it a 6. I loved Statham. I loved Helen Mirren. The breakout scene, the baby scene, those are great, and they really save it for me. This movie does build. The climax is at the end. You know I love that. But it's a 6. It's in the same tier for me as Fast 6, actually. So I've got a few 10s, I got a few 7s, and I got the bad one way down at the bottom, Too Fast.
Okay, I'm going even lower than Trey. I wasn't as high on this as, of course, JD. I'm more in the ballpark where TK is. Without Statham, without even that baby scene, I had this extremely low. Loved where it came in the movie. It was the best by far. The scene that we talked about, so that was good. Saved it a little bit. I guess I'm fine with Charlize Theron overall. I hate hacker stuff, though, in movies for the most part. So, that's like her whole thing. And it's like, okay, I'm so tired of this. It is weird that Dom and Hobbs are not even now talking to each other in this franchise. It just makes you go, this entire movie just made me go, oh, I'm actually excited for Hobbs and Shaw.
Yeah.
Because I'm sort of dommed out, and these guys are the best. And I'm fascinated to see are they like how they're working together, who they're trying to take down, do they turn on each other, how all that plays out. So I just kept thinking the whole time, like, all right, I'll just get over 8 here and let's get to the 9th one of the franchise, Hobbs and Shaw. So I'm gonna give it a 4. Pretty low.
Whoa.
Yeah. Maybe it was the ads that I had to watch, JD. I don't know, but it's just I think what's happening here too, because the way we're watching these, it's like, you know, you said it, JD. Like this is all we're watching almost right now, and we're watching them pretty quickly, you know, after one another. And you know, I talked before how they blend together and stuff, but you get like a little bit of a burnout at some point where you're just like, all right. And I like totally, not that it was like amazing or anything, but like totally called what was going to happen with the missile at the end. Like he's just going to have it somehow track him into the sub. Right. Hated that firewall, as we talked about. Stupid. And yeah, some of these other characters are just like, meh. They're just like a little bit of throwaways. Like, I don't know why Ramsey's even there. I mean, again, Tej could be doing this. She's not a Gal Gadot replacement at all. She is in terms of just being a beautiful woman, I guess. And they're like, well, that works for one of these other guys to like, you know, creepily hit on. So there's that. But I'll go 4 overall. Love the baby. The baby is a star to me.
Great baby.
You know what? I hope this franchise goes to like 50 now, and that baby is like taking over and is running things. That would be cool. Little Brian Marcos, Neves Toretto running things. Get that baby a tuna sandwich.
The next generation, Jack and Brian roaming the streets.
Yeah.
I'm here.
Oh, that's going to happen.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
It has to.
Like the series will likely go away, and then we'll come back, right? 20 years later.
Grandpa Dom. I can't wait.
Wow, okay, that got me excited. So what's next? I mean, I said it. It's Hobbs and Shaw. It's the 9th movie in the franchise. Only 2 left for us, guys. Hobbs and Shaw, and then F9, which recently came out. So, Trey, what do we need to know heading into this one?
That's right. Hobbs and Shaw, Samoan Thor teaming up with that tea and crumpets eating criminal some bitch. 9 movies into the franchise. Our first spin-off, and honestly, this spin-off to me seems to be the main reason for all of the tension on set during Fast 8. From reading the tea leaves, from reading The Rock's Instagram post where he was basically like, I love working with my female co-workers, and all of my male co-workers are candy asses. What it sounds like happened is that producers went to The Rock and Jason Statham apparently and said, we're going to be spinning off Hobbs and Shaw. Would you be interested in it? They said yes. And they did that before they told basically everybody else who was involved with Fast 8, which means then that Hobbs and Shaw had to come out before Fast 9, which is like, hey, why are you pushing back the main franchise to launch this new series with 2 newcomers, which is a fair point, but I think they pitched this as a buddy cop movie. I mean, they're not cops, but whatever, for The Rock and Jason Statham, which, as we saw in Fast 8, is going to play to their strengths. I was shocked how much I loved Hobbs and Shaw the first time I watched it. Much smaller, kind of throwbacky movie. I was kind of thinking it would be similar to Tokyo Drift, honestly, the first time I saw it, where it's like, you know, it's part of the franchise, but it's kind of sitting off to the side of it, maybe a little inessential. It was great. So I'm excited to be watching this one because for 2 like random characters that were added kind of halfway through this franchise, this seems to be a whole new franchise that could be starting here. And if you liked Statham's performance, if you've liked what you've seen from The Rock so far, much more of it in Hobbs and Shaw.
Does this move the story forward overall, or is it really branch off? Like, how much will this have an impact on F9 and all the movies moving forward? Or is it sort of like plucked out and it's like, okay, these are the characters, of course, but it has really nothing to do with the rest of it?
I haven't seen Fast 9 yet, so I can't totally answer that question. Okay. It's going to be a fresh one for all of us, but I mean, with these movies, everything builds or doesn't build, right? Like in Fast 8, we heard Dom just casually mention, hey, don't take your foot off the tiger's neck. And then much later, the foot was taken off the tiger's neck. So yeah, I'm sure whatever's going down in Hobbs and Shaw will at some point have an influence on Fast 12 or whatever.
JD, I assume you're going to be watching this with Rachel.
Well, maybe. You know, I mean, yes.
I would think she's going to want to watch this by the sounds of it. Two favorites.
For all I know, she's watching it right now, actually. I have no idea. she's not around. So
she's streaming Hobbs and Shaw as we record. Okay. Well, are you excited at least moving forward? We're almost done too. Are you excited about that?
I'm excited that we're almost done for sure. Yes. I'm excited that I have not seen the next two, so I'm going in blind. I don't think I've seen even trailers for either movie. I've definitely been trying to avoid the F9 trailers because I want to go in completely blind if possible. I did get one spoiler. I think we talked about it. The brother is coming. But yeah, it's hard to research these movies and like read about them at this point because you're sort of accidentally seeing stuff about F9 and stuff. Yeah. But I think I've done a pretty good job avoiding both. So I'm pumped. And Hobbs and Shaw, yeah, like they're the best two things about the movies so far. So it's gonna be good. Yeah, I expect to like.
I too have no idea what the plot of this movie is outside, of course, these guys being in it. But like I said, it's Hobbs and Shaw. It's not Hobbs versus Shaw. So they're together. Who are they trying to take down? Does somebody turn on each other? Does Owen come into play here? Do any of these other... I'm fascinated to see if any of these other characters are in this movie. Who got the call up for like this little spin-off? Or is it sort of alone and by itself? Can't wait. Hobbs and Shaw will be our next movie. Make sure you guys watch it so you're up to date for the next Fast Friends. I'll remind you all, tweet at us at NoDunksInc. That's INC on Twitter. Any of your Fast and Furious thoughts, you can email them to nodunks@theathletic.com. Put Fast Friends in the subject header. And if you listen on Apple Podcasts, leave us that 5-star rating and review if you're digging this. And if you're on YouTube, subscribe and leave a YouTube comment about the movie and moving forward here with two more, Hobbs and Shaw and then F9. Getting close to wrapping this up and pretty damn close to the start of the NBA season. So very exciting. Thank you so much for joining us. We will see you next time on Fast Friends.